Welcome to Finding Neutral. I'm Aaron.
I'm Travis.
I'm Nick.
And in this episode, we are going to try to make predictions about the 2026 model year. And this is being filmed, I don't know what the date is today. It's like the end of September.
Today is September 28th, 2025.
So the only reason I'm dating it like that is so you know that this is being recorded before the EICMA show, before all of basically the motorcycle world gets unveiled on their new model year.
Yeah, so when we're totally right, we can say you heard it here first.
Exactly. So these
Precisely.
are our predictions, and we're not going to go down the entire list of every manufacturer on the planet. We're just going to go hit some key points and speculate on what we think is to come. So let's start us off. Nick, do you have any 2026 predictions for the motorcycle market?
2026 predictions. Well, I think that the current S1000 will be the exact same.
Wings will be bigger.
No, I think feel like they're on a 2-year cycle.
Well, okay, so cheating here a little bit. The Ducati Panigale V4R just got unveiled. They did that one before EICMA. And here's the big thing that's on the Ducati is it has some more aero.
Where?
Not only does it have the wings, not only does it have the back wings, it's got new little inlet things down on the lower fairings.
Oh yeah, the brake cooling ducts.
No, not the brake cooling
No?
ducts. No, these are down on the lower fairings, and they're supposed to I think when you're in a corner banked all the way over in lean angle, these are supposed to help push your tire into the ground while at a lean angle.
So in a situation where 95% of people are not going to be
That's correct, yeah.
noted.
So
Well,
that got some new aero.
tracks with all the wings.
Yeah.
The whole purpose of them.
Yes. But I would like to see some of these 990 platform bikes from KTM come to the U.S. in 2026, specifically
RCR.
the 990 RCR,
Yeah, I
because
think
that would be something that I would consider.
my prediction is we're not going to see the RCR. My prediction is if the RCR comes in 2026, which they would be dumb to not bring it out in 2026.
Well, because why not?
Well, the Panigale V2 and the big elephant in the room is the R9. Those bikes they exist. You can buy them right now. So if KTM doesn't bring the RCR in 2026, they're dumb. They're missing the boat. But I think it'll be a European model. I don't think it'll be in the US in 2026.
Well, isn't it already out in Europe?
No,
No?
it is
Okay.
not.
I heard they were bringing cheese cams back.
Yeah, cheese cams for sure. Chocolate cams.
Oh,
Did they also
yeah.
lose their 10 millimeter socket?
Yeah.
Yeah, for
in
sure.
the cams?
Yep.
Other than that, let's think. Well, what's the Harley Davidson refresh schedule?
I was going to touch on.
Will there be like
Harley.
a fluff to the street and road glide?
So what we're going to get out of Harley is exactly what you'll expect. Same lineup, different colors.
Bigger radio, probably. Get bigger
No,
screen.
they just did that.
No.
2023 on the CVOs and then 2024 for everything else.
Bigger speakers?
They got the big, crazy, huge dash on them. And they're just going to continue with that for now. I don't think they're going to revamp any of that. They go like 10 years on a model run, so they go a long time. But I do think that all you're going to see from them is new colors. And I would be curious if they're finally going to start putting the 131 into like the CVO model. For 2025, they had that Road Glide RR, whatever the heck they call that thing, CVO RR, whatever, $100,000
Race replica?
Yeah, $100,000 Road Glide. It was street legal. But
Is that
it's,
before or after accessories?
that's no accessories.
So no fringe.
But it also has pretty much every accessory you could ever want. It has the 131 in it. But I'm curious if they'll stretch that 131 out and put it across more models. I think that would be a good direction for them to go with Indian stepping up the Power Plus platform from a 108 to a 112. Even though it's physically a smaller motor, the performance is there. It has the performance of basically the 131 in street trim. So I think that Harley could possibly throw the 131 in something. But that's all I really see out of Harley. I don't see anything else major coming out of them. I don't see any extra models.
Yeah.
I just don't. I would hope that Indian and Harley would wisen up and make cheaper models.
Yeah, you think
Well,
they would because
Not cheaper baggers. I'm talking about like a cheap
no,
entry
like
level
small,
model.
yeah, like regular, just your standard cruiser.
$8,000 price point, 700, 800 cc's. You know,
I think 800 cc's, about 85 horsepower.
Well, come on now.
Well, that might be a lot for a cruiser. Maybe like
now,
65.
So,
Yeah.
excuse my ignorance, but do either or both manufacture stateside?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Both of them do.
So, with the current macroeconomic climate and unknown impact of tariffs, this would ideally be their time to shine, per se, and be able to offer something at a price point that the outsiders wouldn't be able to.
Well, under current projections, Harley Davidson's already looking at possibly having to do like a 30% price hike under tariffs.
Yeah.
So even though they're manufactured here, the materials come from
Correct.
all over the
I
world.
Very
heard
true.
I heard through the grapevine that Harley was trying to strike a deal with Trump.
Oh, I don't doubt that. I don't doubt
I'm
that one
sure.
bit because I can tell you that the 2026 KTM off-road product line that had been delayed because of tariffs, they've been approved. They're coming, and the tariffs aren't nearly as bad as what they originally thought they would be because of the deal they worked out with the Motorcycle Industry Council, the
Yeah.
AMA, and then lobbying Congress and Trump to get a fair deal struck up because what they were talking about was absurd. So,
Yeah.
Do you think that Bob had some part to play in this?
who's Bob?
Bob, our tame motorcycle rider?
No,
I think he did.
I don't think he exists.
I think he went to Washington and he made a discussion with them and he signed the deal.
He lives in the computers.
He doesn't.
He's
scout.
already there.
Duh. Conspiracy.
Harley. I don't see much coming out of them.
Well, there's never anything coming out of them.
Yeah,
Lots of loud noises.
they do convert gasoline into noise very well.
True. So, Travis, what are we going to see from your favorite British motorcycle manufacturer in the
Boo.
coming year?
We got some goodies.
Boo.
That was the wrong one.
Yeah, that was definitely the wrong one.
There we go.
We got some goodies. So we know the refreshes from the latest lines that they have. You know, they came out with that Daytona 660, which is kind of equivalent to like the Ninja 650 Kawasaki. So it's like, it's not really a track bike. It's more of a street bike.
Well, I would put
dressed
it in
up to
that
look like a
class, but I
naked
wouldn't
bike.
call it equivalent. I would say it's
No.
way better than a Ninja 650.
Well, yeah, but
Correct.
it's not meant
Agreed.
to be a track.
But it's not track focused.
Bike.
Yeah,
It's a-
not track
it's a-
focused.
It's definitely a street bike.
But now,
A lot of people were disappointed in that because the old Daytona was such a great bike.
yeah, it was.
And by
and-
great they mean terrible.
Well, I would consider owning an
Speak
older
for
one.
yourself.
That speaks to my heartstrings. I would consider owning an older one.
Oh, good lord!
Like the 2000, I think it was with the 2018.
Is that with the Moto 2 engine?
Yeah, the Moto 2 edition of that bike, all carbon fiber fairings all across the whole
Give
thing.
me.
Oh man, it looks great.
Terrible.
So the new one,
Turbo.
The Tiger Sport 800 that came out earlier this year, been a pretty good hit. A lot of people have been very happy with that bike. There's been sightings that they're doing the 800 motor in the Trident.
And I think that's an easy addition to their model lineup. But I also see it as, does their model lineup really need that? Because I feel
Well,
like if you have a Trident 800, why would you buy that over a Street Triple?
I'll get to that.
Because the styling.
So they're bumping the display. They're adding the Trident 800 with the 800 from the Tiger Sport. Then I am speculating that they're going to do an 800 Daytona because people have been disappointed with the Daytona, the new 660, because
It's
a big
as
name to live up
much,
to.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to do an 800 of that because it's easy. Why wouldn't you? Just swap the motor's the same. Just swap it out, you know?
Well, I would say if they did another Daytona, one, why wouldn't they build it on your chassis, the Street Triple 765
Well, that's what
RS?
the old Daytona is.
And that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Because the middleweight, what used to be the 600 class of sport bikes, one of Nick's favorite,
The best place
Yeah.
to be.
it's getting a resurgence. And
Because it's great.
Yeah.
so
Well-
we're not getting a resurgence in inline fours that are 600 cc. We're getting basically the same performance, but out of totally different engine packages. The R9 is a 3-cylinder that's almost 900 cc's, but it's about 120 to 130 horsepower. The new Panigale V2, again, about 120 to 130 horsepower. The KTM 990 RCR, that's going to be about 120 to 130 horsepower.
Yep.
And all these bikes are going to be in that category, and they're all going to be set up for basically a race class. So why wouldn't Triumph, who currently supplies all the Moto2 engines to MotoGP, why wouldn't they make a bike that would also compete in that class?
And maybe they will. Maybe that's on the docket. It'd be great. I don't know. I guess, it depends on what they think their sales figures for that would be. But the other speculation is because everybody was like, well, they're kind of crowding the market, their market segment with two of the same bike. But they're talking about dropping the R model,
Now
Street Triple,
that's a model I could get behind dropping.
Well, now,
because the sales figures are terrible on them.
didn't they add another flavor of Street Triple, or at least announced recently?
Yes, the
Okay.
RX.
Yeah,
Which-
that's what I thought.
I guess makes sense because they had the Moto 2 edition that they made.
And the
when-
RX is just basically a Moto 2 edition, isn't it?
It's a
No,
Moto 2 that's
it-
not limited edition, I think.
It requires a prescription from a doctor.
Come on, Dad.
It is the RX, to be clear.
I got that.
Should come in the pill bottle color scheme.
Yes, absolutely. I want 90s pill bottle. Give me like hot pink, mint green from
childproof key.
toothpaste, purple.
Yeah, like the moxicillin
Yeah.
bottle.
Bubblegum flavor, please.
Yeah, so there's talk of dropping the R, and basically the R bike would be replaced by the Trident 800.
And
that
I-
would be the new version of that.
I
But
could
like,
see
it's not a
that.
Street Triple. It looks totally different.
It
Yeah,
does.
it does, but they look good. And if you
They-
want, and
they
here's
look
the thing,
retro.
people that want a Street Triple, they go buy the RS.
That's the thing is everybody
Yeah.
buys the
Yeah,
RS
absolutely, 100%.
because it's only like a little bit more, and you get like
I've never
fancy
seen an
suspension and
R.
more horsepower and all this.
Never
no
seen
one
it.
buys
Yeah.
the R. Everybody
Never
buys the
seen it.
RS.
Yeah.
So I felt like the R was a silly model in their lineup, and that should be dropped.
It made sense long ago when the line was younger, and it was the R was the middle bike. You had the RS was the top dog, the R was the middle, and then they had a base.
Yep.
And so it was like the R was more of a street
The R
performance
wasn't
bike.
the base.
No, there was
Okay.
a Street Triple. Period. That was it. Before, long ago, with the 675. When they
Oh,
refreshed
yeah,
to
yeah,
the
yeah.
765, there was only the R, the RS, and they had the limited edition Moto 2. Moto 2s are limited run. They don't make those anymore that I'm
Correct.
aware of. There was only 765 of those made for each market, for U.S. market and for all of Europe. And then the RX is going to be basically
Limited.
the Moto 2, but I don't think it's going to be limited edition, though.
Mm.
Maybe it is, but
I think that they should limit
don't
that
think so.
RX because, like, me looking to replace my Super Duke, I've looked pretty extensively at the Speed Triple, and it breaks down into similar models. They have a,
Yeah.
I don't know if they have an R, but they definitely have an RS, and then they have a top of the line RX.
the RX, yep.
And the RX is actually the bike I don't want. I want the RS.
Yeah, I had the same same thing. I went through the same thought when I was looking at mine.
The RX, it doesn't really come with much more performance other than it has the on the street triple, it has the Öhlins fork instead of the Showa fork.
Yep.
But
Well, and you got clip-ons.
but that's the
instead
problem
of-
is the clip-ons.
Yeah.
And I did not want the clip-ons.
Yep.
I wanted.
We know you don't like clip-ons.
Yeah, I want the flat bar. So the RS is the way I would go because you basically get all the performance, but then you get the flat bar, and in the speed triple you still get the Öhlins fork.
Yeah.
So it's under a little bit different of a tune. It's a little softer, but that's fine. I can live with that.
Yep. So I think that's the spiel from Triumph.
So the only other bikes that I've seen that have 26s that have been announced for sure are Ducati stuff, and it's all stuff that it's unobtainium. It just doesn't matter. Like they come out with a new RS version of the Multistrada and a new RS version of the Diavel.
So like people that don't ride but just have a lot of money will like
So
to buy those.
These are like the full carbon fiber, everything carbon
Yeah.
wheels. They got the same motor as the Panigale, although it's in a different state of tune, so it's only 180 horse, but it's still wicked.
So the office bikes have been released.
Yeah, they're unobtainium, and neither one makes much sense. So it's not really like a sales threat by any means, and I don't think that they're going to come out and just like dominate the market with these bikes. And they don't mean to. They know what they are, and they know who they're for. So those are really the only things that have been announced. I haven't seen anything else from Ducati necessarily, other than they're going to expand the dirt bike that they brought out. They have the 450 that's what they came out with first, and they're going to expand that lineup more. And I bet in 2026 they'll announce a 250 and then possibly a Woods version of the 450. Triumph's going to do the same thing. They started out with a 250 motocross bike, and for 2025 they've already expanded that line, and in 2026 I wouldn't doubt them expanding more. On the off-road front, there keeps being rumors, and I don't know how accurate this is, but there's a lot of rumors circulating around Kawasaki bringing out a 300 two-stroke, which is interesting.
Two-stroke?
Yeah, to compete with
Well,
the
yeah.
Europeans, the KTMs, the Betas, like all that sort of stuff that run enduro. And
I don't.
basically to be a contender in the enduro realm, you have to have a two-stroke.
Yeah, but when have they ever succeeded at that plan?
Well, their motocross two-strokes went all. I don't remember what year Kawasaki cut off, but all the Japanese bikes cut off two-strokes around 2007, 2008. So I imagine Kawasaki had one up to that point, and they still make competition two-stroke models for kids. They have like the 85 and stuff like that. So they're not opposed to making two-strokes, and we know that they can.
The good old 500 two-stroke.
But their chassis and everything like that is usually a little underwhelming. So I don't think that they're going to compete in that regard. Where they do compete is in price point. They'll have basically instead of going to KTM and having to pay $13,000 for an enduro, you can go to Kawasaki and buy one for $8,000.
Mm-hmm.
And that'll be the difference.
So you brought up the concept of Japan. What do we... It's been very quiet, I feel like, on that front for anything street related.
I think Honda's turning up the heat.
You think so?
Yeah, they've been turning up the
They
heat.
What
got
are we
that-
thinking
they
we're
got
going to
that-
see from them?
The weird turbo thing.
Ooh, yeah, that's something that I want to see come out. I don't.
They've
But
teased
that's
that a
going to
couple
take several
times.
years from
I
now
don't- yeah,
before we see it in
I don't
anything
think-
production.
I don't think that's going to be a 2026 model, but apparently they have a working road bike.
Mhm.
Apparently, I've heard rumors about a working road bike, and if memory serves, it's about a 750cc ish V3, 2 cylinders in the front, 1 cylinder in the back, like a mullet, and it's going to have an electric turbo on it, which, I mean, I remember back in the day, people used to like joke around about strapping like leaf blowers onto their engine and making power, and it doesn't work because they didn't have the airflow for it. But apparently, I think Porsche has an electric turbo in their car, and it's like wicked. It's supposed to be like badass
Well,
because
a fully electric turbo where that's the only form of boost on that engine.
Yes.
yes,
Okay.
so the electric motor drives the impeller
Mm-hmm.
and spins up the compressor. But the thing is, since it's electric, it's on demand,
Yeah.
which means you can spin that compressor at any time.
Well, and that's how like Mercedes did with their last implementation. There was a standard large turbo, but then they put a small E compressor in with that to make up for before the turbo.
Yeah, so I think they're just eliminating the
Okay.
exhaust-driven turbo because
Mm-hmm.
why have all of that complication?
Why have the extra back pressure, etc., when
Yeah.
you can just plumb it in? So, my question would be then: are they going to be running this off of the standard 12-volt system, or are they going to do like a
No,
48 or something other?
they would have to have like a big lithium cell and or whatever modern battery tech that you
Other
want to
than
throw
the
in.
starter cell.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and not
yeah.
not the 12-volt side, but like either inverting it to AC voltage and running high AC voltage in like a big 3-phase brushless motor, big AC motor, or it could be a DC motor that they're running like some sort of overdrive system as far as gearing goes to get the RPM they need, because they need turbos run at like 100,000 RPM.
Oh yeah, it's insane.
So you'd have to be able to get to that RPM.
Well, brushless motor will run that RPM.
Yep.
That's not a problem.
Like a
It's just,
AC
do you have
brushless
enough,
will.
It's just, do you have enough torque to get there?
Yep.
And I think the only way that makes sense for that to work on a motorcycle is to not have a battery. If the bike isn't going to be a hybrid, if it's not going to have electric drivetrain, it's silly to put a huge lithium battery into the bike, adding weight, complexity,
Correct.
cost for something that doesn't need that. And the thing to
Well, then
think
how are you going
about,
to power it?
you'd invert it, a really big alternator on the motor.
That's what I would think
that
is
can run it.
some sort of inversion
Because the thing is you're going to want that thing to be able to run all the time.
all the time.
So if you have to build the engine to be able to run that all the time, then there's no point in having a battery.
Yep.
And so the engine will run like when it's sitting at idle or you're starting the engine up and it's just futzing around. You're not going. It doesn't need to run it, so it can just shut it down and it can run naturally aspirated until you get in the gas, and then it spools the thing up.
Yep. Under certain conditions, and it would spool it up instantly.
Yeah.
An electric motor has torque now, so
Yep.
you don't have to try to use exhaust gases to spool the thing up, which takes time, which causes turbo lag, and has all those
You get rid of all the exhaust restriction,
Yep.
which means that you can push even more air through it.
And get rid of all the plumbing.
Yep.
So there's a lot
There's a lot of plumbing, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's a lot of space that you don't need to worry about.
Yep. So it can have
providing.
a traditional exhaust. Really, you're adding a piece this big. That's really about it.
If
The
that.
electric motor and then the turbo.
And they're
And
talking
it just
about
goes
that.
in between the intake.
They're talking about the V3 being about a 750-ish cc engine, and they're talking about it making 150 horsepower.
That'd be pretty sick.
So, what platform do we think we would see this in?
I want to hear that thing run.
So I think, and what Honda is talking about is replacing 1000cc.
Like the
Nakeds.
CBR 1000 RRR.
Yeah, I think
R
like
Special
the,
R?
the Hornet.
I think like the Nakeds.
Okay.
I think they're going
Like
to
the
try.
CB 1000.
I think they're going to try to, not necessarily because that new Hornet is kind of a big deal.
I think having a special edition of that Hornet with that in it
I
makes
think
sense.
I think that what they'll do is they'll make a more premium bike.
Mm-hmm.
This will be a premium bike because the ones they keep showing, it has a single-sided swing arm. It has things that are typically more reserved for a premium bike because single-sided swing arms are expensive to produce.
Correct.
So they would keep that for more of an upper scale bike, even though it's a smaller engine, but because it has forced induction, it's a higher horsepower.
Well, that bike's going to be expensive.
I think so.
But I wonder how you would handle, like, just the delivery of the additional torque with your limited contact patch without having a shit ton of traction control on it.
Well, I'm sure because all modern bikes are going to
Well,
have traction control.
But it's going to have to
great-
be really linear,
What's
or you're
great
just going to
about that-
fucking rip rear tires.
Well, no. So what's
constantly.
great about that is because the turbo's electronic, you can control exactly how much power you produce with the turbo.
At will. And like, you know, if you're at half throttle, you can make half boost. If you're at full throttle, you can make full boost. Hell, if you're at full throttle, you can make half boost because you can have different ride modes where you basically can turn up and down the power and everything.
So electronically, it's going to have a really great suite to make it seamless, in
You
my
also-
opinion.
100%.
You also don't need a wastegate.
Yeah, you don't need a wastegate because you can just shut the
You
motor
just shut it
down.
off
yeah,
right away.
Yeah, yeah.
I think they would be stupid to run without a wastegate. No, I'm sorry. Stupid to run without a purge.
No, yeah, have an emergency purge in case you get too high a pressure.
Not an emergency purge. I want that thing
The
blowing
whooshing
You want it to
off
wi- you want it to blow
literally
off?
every time I let off the throttle. Because why have a forced induction thing if it doesn't go? Like, you got to have that.
You want it to have a
Seriously,
the squid mode where you
that's-
can rev it up and it just dumps it.
Oh yeah, I want
Just flutters.
just dumping all the boost all the time. Like that's no joke. That's seriously one of the reasons the H2 from Kawasaki
Yeah.
sells so well is because it
the
makes the
noise.
stupid little chirp noise.
You want it to sound like it's in Fast and the Furious.
Oh yeah,
Grabbing 15,000 gears.
100%. That's what I want. Why
We're
wouldn't
entering
you?
15th gear.
That'd be the whole point. If Honda doesn't do that, they're dumb. But the aftermarket definitely will.
Oh, absolutely.
100%. The aftermarket's going to be like, we need the biggest blow off valve possible on this thing.
Forge diverter valve.
So yeah, I think that V3 is a good call out. I think that would be super cool to come out, but realistically, I don't see it coming out in 26. I see that being like a 27 or
No,
28
yeah,
bike.
it's probably not fully developed yet.
Yeah, I don't think it's
and they
developed.
take
I
their
don't think-
time.
yeah.
Maybe they'll put some plastics on the frame this time when they show it. Because last time it was just the engine and partial piece of the frame.
Yeah, it was an incomplete frame with an engine in it, and didn't even have a fuel tank on it. But man, it looked good. God, did it look good.
Huh.
I'm like stoked for that bike.
Good old Honda.
And Yamaha had a little oopsie slip happen.
Yamaha nip slip.
Yeah, they, for some reason, had an MT10 pop up on their consumer site that had a V4 in it. And it was only on their consumer site for a couple of minutes, but the internet, being the internet, grabbed
Can't beat
a bunch of screenshots.
the Wayback Machine.
And those screenshots are still saved right now. You can go look it up. And it looked like it was a finished product. And I don't know how in the world Yamaha has kept a V4 under wraps and not had spy shots. But
Well, they just released that V4 truck bike.
the MotoGP bike,
Yeah.
that's different. Those are prototypes. That's a whole different. Those are nothing to do with consumer grade products. Those are strictly prototype machines.
Doesn't mean it can't have similar architecture.
True, but like MotoGP bikes are so far removed from what's available to the public, it's not even funny. It's like the Ducati MotoGP bike is nothing like a Panigale. The motors aren't even close to the same. Like they're so far removed, it's ridiculous.
Well, it's like the NASCAR Camry.
Yeah, like the NASCAR Camry. But GP bikes are still a little closer to production bikes than a NASCAR is to a production car. And like NASCARs aren't even. They're the
It's
same.
just a vinyl wrap on a weird body.
Yeah, it's a vinyl wrap on a weird body, and that's all the difference between all the cars is.
What's crazy is that vinyl wrap is so good. Like when you look at the different
makes them
cars,
look different.
you swear it's a different shape, but
Yep.
they are not. They're
No.
all
They're
identically
identical.
shaped.
Yep. But MotoGP does allow the different manufacturers to hold different shapes. But but between what you see on a MotoGP grid versus what's available in the market as production, not even close to the same.
That's why I like World Superbike.
Yeah, World Superbike is at least a little closer
Yeah.
as far as architecture goes. But like, so a swing arm for a World Superbike build is like 20 or 30 grand just for the swing arm. Like if you get a DevTech swing arm, they're like crazy expensive. I've seen some of those swing arms in person. I don't know why they're so expensive. I guess it's just the R&D
Some
that goes into
weird
it.
alloy. Who knows?
It's not. No, it's not even in a weird alloy. I think it's just because of all the R&D that goes into it, because of all the flex you have to build into it and everything. Whole different planet. But at least with World Superbike, you're kind of close to what's available to the public. Put it this way: you could build a World Superbike spec bike. You cannot build a MotoGP spec bike. You can't. It's
What
so,
if I
so
buy
far
a
out.
foundry, a machine shop, an assembly cell?
You'd have to have the specs of the bike, which is a closely guarded
true.
secret.
I need an engineering team too. Then
Yeah, you'd have to have so much stuff. To develop a MotoGP bike would probably cost you an individual $10 million. Because the bikes themselves, they're usually valued around 2 to 3 million a piece. So when they wad one of those things up, it's like
it's a great day.
pretty crazy. And I bet they fix a lot of the components on them rather than
I'm
just
sure.
trashing them.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of the components are fixable, but still, like, it's just crazy expensive to crash them.
Unless it's a Suzuki and it just explodes into a million pieces.
So we talked about the Euro manufacturers. We touched on Japan. What do we think we're going to see out of China?
Ooh, China.
Yeah, CF Moto. What do you think?
CF Moto is the biggest contender. At least in the
Because
American market.
this past year, did they not bring a new Super Sport?
They did. They brought two, 675 and a 750. And I think there's been a CF Moto V4 Superbike on the horizon for at least the past year. There's been rumors and talks. And I honestly wouldn't doubt if they bring out a V4 Superbike in 2026. I think that's where CF Moto's headed. They've been doing a lot of race stuff. They've been really putting out a name for themselves. I think that big, premium, open class Superbike is on the horizon. Do I think it's going to be in the realm of like Ducati? No, and
Never.
I don't think CF Moto has that as an aspiration. They're not taking away sales from Ducatis. They're not. What they're going to do is they're going to bring a V4 Superbike. It's going to have, they're going to market it as if it's as good as a $30,000 Superbike. They're going to price it probably around 15, but we're all going to know that it's not Panigale level. It's going to be a lot of bike for the money, and I think that'll be pretty cool.
Certainly. That is the one thing the Chinese are good at, is affordable prices.
But I don't see anything else major from them. They've been focusing a lot on the
Sport arena.
category.
Because I don't think they've done anything with their ADV range since they came out with it.
They kind of dominate the small ADV market.
Yeah.
That Ibex 450 that they have is
Yeah, it was a winner.
That is a good, like, I got to ride one. Jeez, I was not expecting it to be that good. That is a very good motorcycle.
Zach loved it too. It was on the top of the leaderboard for a while.
Dude, it's like when you ride it, it feels, that was a big ass bug. It feels premium. It feels really well engineered and really well put together. The motor is phenomenal. It is so good. With the way it builds power and the way it peaks out at power. But the chassis is great. Just everything about the bike was really, really had me blown away. I did not think it was going to be on that level. Because I knew the internet was talking great about it, and I've ridden plenty of little adventure bikes, and all of the ones that I've ridden have always been kind of like, yeah, this is a entry-level, basic beginner bike. This doesn't feel like a beginner bike. This feels like way above and beyond a beginner bike. It just happens to be in the beginner class.
Yep.
So I was very thoroughly impressed by the Ibex 450. I've yet to really be around CF Moto's other lineup, other than their Versus 650 ripoff. That's the only other one I've really been around.
They've got the sport bike that's what, a
675 triple,
7.5.
and then they have a 750 4-cylinder.
Yeah.
The 750 4-cylinder has a single-sided swing arm.
Huh.
They're going to come out with, this is already in the mix, but that 450 platform, they're going to expand it, They do have a sport bike that's a 450 already, but next year it's looking like that 450 sport bike is going to get upgraded with a single-sided swing arm. Why they're going to do a little entry-level sport bike with a single-sided swing arm, I don't know. But the other rumor is that CF Moto 450 sport bike, KTM's going to put a KTM badge on it and replace the RC 390, and they're probably going to call it the RC 490. But the spy shots that's been shown of the KTM RC 490, it the way it separates itself is it obviously the bodywork, but it's going to have WP suspension instead of whatever the heck CF Moto's been putting on them.
Really?
Duly noted, with best regards.
And it's going to have single-sided swing arm. It looks identical to the CF Moto, at least in the spy shots. It had the same wheels and everything, but it had WP suspension and it had KTM bodywork.
Interesting.
So it looks like the RC platform, but it'll have that 450 motor, which is an excellent motor, very good motor, 270 crank.
You know what's going to be a shame about that bike?
What's that?
The internet's going to shit on that bike because it's from China and not from Austria.
Just
like the Indian bikes. Even worse than the Indians, I think.
Sometimes the internet can really just go.
We might not even
itself.
see it though because tariff.
I'm sure all that's going to get sorted out. I really am.
Hope so.
Because it can't just keep going like this. It's absurd. I think our government is trying to strong arm the other governments, and we'll see what happens. But it just can't go on.
It cannot.
But as far as a bike like that coming out, like that's very interesting. And if the internet wants to attack it from being from this country or that country, well, the internet's just a bunch of freaking ignorant idiots.
Have you met the internet?
Yeah, because if you've ever ridden the new CF Motos, they're good. They're just flat out, they're good, and they're worth their money that they're asking for them. I don't think there's a single problem with riding a CF Moto. The Indian-built KTMs, while I will sit here and tell you, first and foremost, they are not on the same quality level as the Austrian-built KTMs. However, their price point makes it okay for them to be at the quality level they're at.
Well, yeah, that's what's required to get to that price point.
But at the same time, their performance has been proven. They've been out since, I think, 2015 was when the 390 came out. And it's been proven to be a reliable, good platform. So what's wrong? What's wrong with it? Yeah. Who cares? It's built in India. I don't care. I think I read an article. I mean, all these British bike brands, old British bike brands have been had their names bought up by Indian suppliers,
such as
Norton has been bought out by an Indian firm, and BSA got bought out by an Indian firm. I can't remember the name of the company that BMW partners with to create their small bikes, their 310s. It's like TVS or something like that.
CBS?
Not CBS. Essential Broadcasting. I think it's TVS, if I remember right. But anyway, it's an Indian firm. They're coming out with a 450 GS, 2 cylinders, 270 crank, and everybody, the whole internet, went freaking crazy over it when they saw the photos of it because it looks proper. It looks very good. That same company's going to, I think, release their own version of that bike, and then there's talks of them. That company is the one who bought. I think they bought BSA, and they're going to BSA or Norton. I can't remember which one, but whichever. They're going to start producing bikes under the British brand's name, and I think they're going to use that 450 in those lines of bikes, and they're going to come out with like some smaller bikes. But I don't think that there's anything. I think that that's a market that's already pretty diluted.
Yeah.
So I don't see anything like groundbreaking coming from that, other than if you just happen to like BSAs and they have BSA styling, whatever, go for it. Anything from Russia?
Are we going to see a new Ural this year?
What about Slovakian?
Some new Akrapovic exhausts. No, they're Slovenian. I apologize.
Yeah, you're way off base here. What about Czech?
What even manufactures in Czech?
Jawa?
What about I'm expecting to see a new WSK out of Poland. You never know.
I don't think that's going to happen.
That or what was the other was that Java? Was that another Polish brand?
Jawa?
Yeah. I think it was Polish.
No, it's not
No.
Polish. It was Czech.
Yeah, we want to see a new WSK.
I can't remember if there was any other big things from Japan.
What kind of new bikes are we going to see from Husqvarna?
Husqvarna, they're going to downsize. That's already been KTM's plan.
What about Gas?
Gas is going to downsize as well, and I wouldn't say I wish they're going to delete the brand. I don't think the brand deserves being deleted. I think it needs to be reimagined. They need to
Be canceled.
They need to come out with a line of trail bikes that are entry-level friendly and low cost. And I think Gas would be the line to do that with under the KTM umbrella. Gas should be like, they should have a bike that basically they can offer as low as about $4 or $5 grand.
They need a bike that competes with the Honda 250F.
That's what I'm getting at. It's like an air-cooled, lumpy, and if they want to do like a simple two-stroke that you can get into for like $8 grand, that would be awesome. Because if we have brands like Kawasaki and possibly Yamaha bringing out electric start two-strokes at a price point that's going to way undercut KTM, then KTM needs to be thinking along those lines and needs to be thinking, I need to come out with a competitive bike that's in that price point. They can keep their high-end bikes because obviously KTM, that's their bread and butter. They make basically the best enduro bike on the planet. And
well, that's what we're saying that Gas should be. Gas should be that low dollar, simpler trail machine competitor.
I think
from KTM.
I think KTM should knock it off with all the special editions. And if they want to do one, that's fine. I get that. But Husqvarna should be their premium line.
Yep.
So they should basically they should knock off all the hard editions or special editions and make Husqvarna just a premium line. So all of them are special editions basically. And then Gas needs to be a low line. That's a true low line. Yep. And I think that would really help elevate the brands.
So you're not just picking between what color you want.
Exactly. Like right now you're buying the same bike, different color, and what separates them MSRP to MSRP. We're not talking about sale prices here, just straight MSRPs. It's literally like you take a 300 two-stroke wide ratio transmission woods bike. So it's the KTM 300X CW, that's the Gas EC300, or the Husqvarna TE300. Those are the three most popular selling models in those brands. Literally, it's like $200 separates them. Husky's the most expensive. And so I always tell customers when they come in and they're like, well, what's the difference? I go over the differences with them because there are slight differences. But ultimately, I say pick your favorite color. It just doesn't matter.
Yep.
They're all three amazing. They all three come so well equipped. It just doesn't matter. And what separates them is just a couple $100. So pick your favorite color because it ultimately doesn't matter.
What about bringing back Husaberg?
I wish, this is just me being a Husaberg fan, Husqvarna would do a special edition, limited release kind of bike that was a Husaberg. And they don't even have to call it Husaberg. They could call it Husqvarna, but change the font of the lettering to look like Husaberg and change the bike up from being white to being blue and yellow.
But would you buy it?
Probably not.
Exactly.
I'm still a
and
huge
that's why they
fan.
wont do it.
I know. Husabergs didn't sell, so they're probably not going to do that. But I think it'd be a cool shout out. I do. Cool throwback. But
Well, it was like how everybody loved the Kawasaki throwback they did. Was it last year?
yeah,
Those are hot.
Yep. Yeah, I think, and that's what Husqvarna could do is they could do like a throwback style bike, but do it up in Husaberg colors, and make it look just like a Husaberg. The thing about Husaberg was in 2010, when KTM's were like 6, 7, 8 grand, Husabergs were $12,000 in 2010. They were the most expensive dirt bike ever, and that's part of their downfall. But they were also the most premium dirt bike ever. They like came super well equipped. They had all the fancy doodads and parts. So that was the appeal to them.
Well, I want to see Husqvarna collab between Husqvarna and Husqvarna the Chainsaw Company.
That won't ever happen.
Make it orange, and then I want to see like a chainsaw chain as a chain. Put some teeth on that bitch.
I want to see like a chainsaw sticking out the front of the thing,
It'll give new definition to Wood's bike.
and then mower blades on the bottom,
Hell yeah.
cutting grass and mixing gas.
There you go.
What about we talked about Ducati, but the other Italians?
Apparilla?
Yeah, that's one. And what about the Italian trash, Moto Guzzi?
I don't think they'll really do anything.
Moto
They're not
Guzzi.
really on that same level
Well,
No.
with
Moto,
all the other manufacturers.
now they did have the two modern bikes that they brought out, the Stelvio, which is the newest one,
The Alfa Romeo Stelvio?
and what was the one that starts with an M? I think it starts with an M.
Maranello?
No, that's the name of a city in Italy.
Moto Marini?
That's Italian manufacturer.
A Chinese manufacturer?
It's an Italian manufacturer.
Mm.
I can't remember the other one, but they had the Sport Tour, and then they had the crossover.
Mm-hmm.
They were like liquid cooled engine, had like active aero flaps and stuff, and
Oh, was that the Mandello?
Mandello and the Stelvio.
Yeah.
So those were modern, and I could see them expanding that line, or at least taking that engine platform and putting it into some of the other bikes. I could see them doing that, at least with one more model. I could absolutely see them doing that. But Moto Guzzi's so far removed from my line of sight. Like,
Oh, I know. There's just some stupid old billboards on Kellogg that I see every so often. I'm like, this still exists?
it's probably for
Cadre?
Cadre, yeah. For
Yeah.
Cadre.
Where, are they in Blue Ash?
Yeah, they're in Bluish.
Yeah.
Actually, they're right behind where I used to work at Columbia, Hyundai, and Acura.
Oh, okay.
Yep, they're kind of tucked back in this little corner back there.
But anyway, Aprilia, for those non-initiated into our language.
Aprilia is
I feel like they just don't change much very often.
no, they do not. So they announced the next hyper version, basically a World Superbike spec RSV4 that you can get.
Mhm.
I think it's going to be about $80,000. But again, that's just some limited production stuff. Normal stuff. RSV4 hasn't really had any major updates. Funny enough, it doesn't really need it. It's still very relevant. And then so same goes for the Tuono V4. The RS660 line and Tuono 660 line, I really, really wish that they would increase the displacement of those. So that would be my guess, is we're going to see about an 800cc middleweight Aprilia. Because the only way they're going to compete with these new sport bikes that come out like the R9 and stuff like that, the only way they're going to compete with those is if they increase displacement. Only way.
Yep.
100%. They have stretched that little 660 motor out so far. They're over 100 horse,
Yeah.
and they blow up.
I was going to say it's about to blow.
Yeah, they're known to blow up. So I think they just need to increase the displacement, and then they'll gain some reliability if they do that.
Well, wasn't it last year they came out with that 457?
Yeah, the 457. I'm gonna say that's like not Italian produced.
Okay. I have no idea.
I think it's Chinese or Indian produced to save some money.
Mhm.
But I don't see that as a very popular bike.
Well, no, it's like everybody was all, oh yeah, the ZX4 RR. Exciting. How often do you see those? Never.
Never. But so the ZX4RR, I think, will be killed.
I would think so.
I think
didn't.
I'll put that down as a prediction. I think they'll kill that off.
Yeah, and I think they knew going in that wasn't going to be a hugely successful. I think they knew that was only going to be a couple year run.
Well,
I
people
think so too.
wanted that to come out and like rev to the moon and back, and then they didn't do that.
Well, they had to neuter it for the U.S. market.
Yeah.
If you get it in Euro spec, it does rev to the moon. And so all you got to do for the U.S. market is send your computer off, have it tuned for a couple $100, and then there you go. It revs to the moon now. But they had to do that for noise emissions stuff in the U.S. market. So yeah, they had to neuter it.
How do they neuter that when Harleys don't get neutered?
Yeah, answer that question. The ZX4 though, I'll put that down as a prediction. I see that kind of going away, and it was a bike that I really kind of disliked for me having to sell it to normal people. Track day guys love that bike,
Well, that's a great bike for that.
but they also don't buy it.
Well, no, because it's new.
No,
It's too expensive.
you can buy a 600 for $1,000 more.
Yeah,
So-
the price
yeah.
point was kind of off.
So the track day guys aren't buying it. New riders were the ones that were interested in it. When I had a ZX4RR in at the shop, I had calls from all over the place, and they were all new riders. And they were all like, well, I've been looking at the spec sheets, and the Ninja 400 versus this just makes way more sense. And I'm like, you've never ridden anything. Because the Ninja 400 for you would be a much, much better choice. This bike is not a good choice for beginner riders. Not that it's scary or super fast, but it makes the power in an inaccessible way. And you have to be an experienced rider to be able to use the bike appropriately. And I rode the bike around. I took somebody out on a test ride, and I led them on the test ride with it. And I was very pleased with the bike.
Yeah, I did a demo day on one, and I thought it was neat.
It was a
Yeah.
very good motorcycle. But at the same time, I was thinking in the back of my head, like, this is not for new riders.
You just wouldn't be satisfied with it.
The riding position is not very compromised.
No, it's not. Not at all.
It's the riding position is not. It's pretty comfortable,
Yeah,
but
it's not like a 600 at
no,
all.
you are not like super aggressive on the ride position. It's more upright, but the motor is still the motor. It's
Yeah.
still a 400cc inline four that you have to spool it up to make it have power. But I will say that the electronics on it were great. The fueling on it was great. The quick shifter worked really seamlessly. Everything on it was awesome, and it was super fun to ride. But not a bike great for beginner riders.
Yeah.
So I would be glad for them, just from a marketing standpoint, from a sales standpoint, I would be glad for them to kill off that bike. I just don't feel like it fits well into any certain group of riders.
Yeah, very niche bike.
Yeah.
So, do we have any other thoughts? I know we talked about new bikes, but other things that are going to be killed.
What's on the docket to be killed?
Yeah, what's going to go see the Lord this year?
I wish they'd kill off the Diavel.
That's never going to get killed off. It's
Nah,
been
they'll
around
hold
for
on
too
to that.
long.
I don't understand how it's been around. Like, I've never seen one sell new for full price. They're always discounted. And it's like, if you have to discount your models to sell them, it means no one wants them.
I think they sell better over in Europe.
Maybe.
That could be it.
Well, everything motorcycle does sell better in Europe, but still,
Well, like I think it's like here if you want a chopper kind of style bike, you just buy a Harley or buy whatever. But
that's what they do in Europe. Yeah, they buy Harleys in Europe.
yeah, but I think this bike took off a little bit more.
Oh, I know a good one that I think should be killed for 2026, and I could see it being killed. Rocket 3.
I don't know. I feel like
know.
there's a niche buyer that's like, oh yeah, I want a 2500cc motorcycle because it's 2500 cc's. That doesn't really. I mean, it rides terribly.
Oh, it's terrible.
To be clear,
It's a terrible
like
motorcycle.
it's just like why? Why would you choose this?
I could say like a Diavel at least rides halfway decent.
Yeah,
The Rocket 3 though it's awful. It's a bad motorcycle.
it's abysmal. It's heavy.
That bike
It's
only
chunky.
exists to hold a place. a record place, whatever you want to call
Yeah,
it.
just saying like I have the biggest motor.
just to say that they have it.
Yeah,
Like, that's the only
that's-
reason they keep the thing around.
Well, hell, a 131 Harley's pretty much the same size. So if Harley releases the 131,
We're gonna get a bigger
Rocket,
Rocket
3,
It's gonna be the Rocket
Rocket
3.5.
3000.
yeah, Rocket 3000.
Let's just take the engine out
3
of
liter.
a mid 2000s Nissan Altima 3.5 SL.
How many 4-cylinders have you ever known of that have approached 3,000 cc's?
None. I think the biggest 4-cylinder I've heard of is like, well, the Subaru, the 2.5. That's
Porsche. Porsche had a 4-cylinder that was like
a 3-liter.
close to 3 liters, I think. It was a
Was it a 2.7?
2.8. I think it was a 2.8.
Yeah.
When was that?
And
was it air cooled?
no, it was like in the front mount engine cars, like the 944 and stuff.
The ones that I would never own.
And the other one, Toyota actually made a 2.7 4-cylinder
Yeah, I'm thinking about
because
that.
Brandon had one in his truck. He had a little Toyota pickup, a 2.7 4-cylinder, and it made more power than the 3-liter V6. Because he had a 3-liter V6 Toyota pickup before that, and it was the V6 Toyota pickups were they were so slow.
I mean, they still are.
Well, I want to say one of my buddies had he got like a smoking deal on an FJ Cruiser many years ago.
A 4-liter?
Yeah, I think it's a straight 6 though, isn't it?
No, it's a V6. Yeah.
But it's so underpowered
Oh,
that those
hugely.
things like
And drink gas.
oh yeah.
They drink fuel. It's crazy.
But
They're
I
kind
want
of
to
cool
say
cars.
I want to say he bought that car for like $7 or $8 grand. And then I think he traded it in for over 10.
Yeah, I
and he
wouldn't doubt
drove
that.
it for like 4 or 5 years and he did some real sketchy body work on it because it was rusting out.
Spray foam.
Literally, spray foam, piece of metal.
Oh, you
And,
don't even need the
some,
metal. Spray foam, and then you just bed liner it.
Well, he got some of this new high. You can get 2K clear in a rattle can now. Or like you break something in it and then you can just rattle can spray it. And it looked pretty good when it was done. Then he traded it in. Then I'm sure somebody bought it within a day.
Probably.
So any other brands that we have any predictions on?
I don't.
I think we pretty much covered them all. I think Suzuki blew their load with the new DRZ, so I don't think they're going to do anything.
And the GSX-8, the 8s, we'll
Yeah,
call
the
them.
Well, isn't there a new 1000?
ST or something.
Suzuki?
Well, a new flavor of.
They made
just
a new
like-
model year, yes.
Well, I thought that there was something slightly different than last year because that's the only thing they do
Oh,
in Superbike world.
they claimed that they did all this, that, and the other, but it's the same freaking
Yeah.
bike.
They've changed the
They-
shape
they-
of the headlight geometry slightly.
Not really. It was all motor stuff that they had to do, but realistically, the reason they had to do it was
Emissions.
Euro
yeah.
5. So
Yeah, because it has that big old cigar on the end, doesn't it?
yeah.
They did, I think it's Suzuki. They did a 2-piece cat converter. Like there's a primary cat and then a secondary in the muffler.
A lot of them do that stuff though.
Yeah. I think maybe they had to do that as well.
But like the Gixxer 1000, it largely didn't change. It's the same chassis, and it's basically been the same chassis since 05 at this
That's what I
point.
figured.
Technically, like since 08, but like it's pretty much the same architecture since 05. So
No new Hayabusa.
they really haven't done
They're
much.
continuing it, but
I'm surprised.
I don't think there's anything much
Well,
new.
they're always gonna have that around.
You
Come
would
on
you would
now.
think, but they've been making them since 1999. There's plenty of them out there, and like whenever I get one used, sitting around, dude, it sits for a long time, and I get a lot of low ballers tire kicking me. So it's not a big mover.
I know
Hayabusas
somebody
don't sell
like
well.
that.
They may or may not have a Hayabusa.
It might be for sale.
And I think that's one of the problems a bike like that runs into is the fact that there's 20 plus years of used bikes out on the market
That are pretty much the same.
that are pretty much identical. So why would you pay? They're $20,000.
Yeah.
Why would you pay that when you can buy a used one that's nice for 10? You can buy a used one that's clapped for 5.
They've never changed anything. I mean, the plastics are even the same. It's even like the same design.
They
I
did,
just-
and if you get one of the more modern ones, I don't know what year it was when it started, but the more modern ones, I have a 23 at the shop, and it's got cruise control, it's got a TFT dash, it's got all the niceties you'd want on
But
a
it
modern
has the
bike.
weird teardrop ass end that, like, I just
It's very
can't-
ugly.
I can't ever get on board with that. The front half looks okay, but the
Don't
rear
tell
end,
Bike Life that.
the people that put the Gixxer 1000 rear end on the Hayabusa, that's a good move. That improves it.
Nothing.
But it's still something I would
it's
never own.
Irredeemable. It's irredeemable.
Irrevocable.
It's just a bad motorcycle. But I've heard people be very satisfied with them when they turn them into touring bikes.
Yeah.
And I can see where they're coming from, but at the same time I'm like, touring bikes exist. And I'm into crossovers, so no thanks. And the other side of things that I can understand that their existence is when people do turn them into like crazy powerhouse drag bikes. I'm cool with that. Yeah, go ahead,
Serves a
dude.
purpose.
Yeah, for sure. Make it happen.
Yeah,
go
if you're
run,
making- if
go
you're
run
making a
8-second
drag
drag
bike-
strips. That's cool.
Yeah, that's the perfect bike for a drag strip.
So I get their existence for that. But otherwise, I could see Suzuki. Well, Suzuki won't kill them off because Suzuki doesn't ever kill anything off. They just keep making the same crap. But I could see them, if they were going to, I could see them doing it. I could see them being like, no, we'll just quit making this. We'll sunset this model.
I don't think they'll do it until Kawasaki gets rid of the H2.
No, until the ZX14.
Now, see, that would be something that would be cool. What if Suzuki stepped up and made a model that got
supercharged.
that replaced the Hayabusa that competed with the H2?
That would be great, but then they'd have to do R&D, which they don't do.
Yeah, they don't do that.
That doesn't exist. They're still working on the next version of the Suzuki Kizashi sedan.
They removed all cars from the United States.
I know they did.
It was a good move.
They were fascinating.
They were
Those
very
are
bad
terrible.
cars.
There's not
They
a lot
were
of
very
Suzuki
bad
Verona.
cars.
Or was it a Suzuki? Did they have one that was like the version of the Geo Tracker?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Samurai.
Sidekick, Samurai.
Samurai.
Sidekick or Samurai?
But I would.
Sidekick was it the Chevy?
Oh, I can't remember.
No, that was the T-Mobile cell phone. But I would. The Suzuki Jimmy, that's a fascinating creature. To be clear.
The new one's
The
neat,
GMC Jimmy?
but
No, the Suzuki. It's kind of like a. I feel like it's like a smaller version of the old style Land Cruiser.
That's what a GMC Jimmy is.
the Jimmy was an
No.
S10.
Jimmy was a S10 Blazer.
Well, but
Yeah.
why would you get an S10 Blazer when you could get the Oldsmobile Bravada?
Ooh, that's a name I haven't heard in a while. My grandpa had one of
Exactly.
those.
Exactly. But on that note, it's time for the music. And that's our predictions.
Those are all of our predictions.
You're definitely all right.
They're going to be correct.
The motorcycle industry obviously listens very closely to our feedback.